Hi everyone, I'm Mira Rao. I'm a resilience and embodiment coach. I help wounded warriors, men and women that have been through hell and back, to heal more, feel better, and deal better with their lives. And I want to talk about my transformational path and framework that I developed in the framework course with George Cal. So I want to give a little bit of background and context first, is that one of the key aspects that people who have been through such an experience develop is compassion for everybody else. And they may have tried different tools and techniques, using the brain, using thoughts, using talk therapy, and just not being able to crack some of those people pleasing, poor boundaries, difficulties making decisions. Those kind of issues are still arising, even if their life might be going quite well now or even good. That lack of compassion inside makes it really hard to keep going or to even enjoy that life as much. So we start at the center. The model that I use brings in the body. And we start by building, I'm just going to share my screen here, that embodied self-love, embodied loving capacity. And I do this by teaching people about how their nervous system works. This already brings in more compassion. I'm a biological creature. I'm meant to be this way. I help people to actually be with the sensations in their bodies, because this can be quite difficult, and understand that this is a source of real deep wisdom for their lives. And then we look also at perhaps there are some little childhood or earlier life parts that are a bit stuck and a bit wounded still, and what it looks like to really hold good parenting inside for yourself. And all of this allows us to build a warm nest of neurons on which to keep building a life and do further healing work. This leads into the embodied living part. And here I encourage people to build these things into their day-to-day lives. So this is building rituals of resilience that can really hold them, and also hold them for the deeper work. So I'm using tools like nonviolent communication, polyvagal theory, yoga, breath work to support people in both building day-to-day habits to build strength and resilience. And that strength and resilience is then there and a tool and a support for the deeper work. And we do inner child work. We might do some deeper journaling exercises, things like that. Once that's become a day-to-day habit, that real deep connection to self is actually available on a day-to-day basis, then we're ready for embodied leading. And this is where we take these kinds of ways of being and ways of functioning out a little bit further into the world. So we've got the embodied loving inside. We're going to take that embodied loving outside a little bit more. And this might mean that we come into looking at our relationships, or we're starting to change how we show up in the world. And there can be some increased difficulties here, because with a more authentic and compassionate internal world, the goals, desires, and dreams might change. If we're not coming from a place of reactivity and fear anymore, or people pleasing, what we want for ourselves might change. And as we begin to do that, any change brings up fear. And as we start to implement those, we also become a little bit more visible. Again, something that might increase that level of fear again. But by now, the tools to regulate through that are well in place. And we use them not only for our internal healing, but we apply them to our aspirations and our growth. I absolutely could not have done this without George. And this tool, I believe, this framework will help take people from lives that they have reactively inherited into lives that they actually choose. And I could not have said any of that, articulated any of that without the help of George, and the beautiful way, George, that you broke down every step, so small and so doable for me, especially understanding how my nervous system works. That was so helpful, taking away any pressure to get it right, just to keep reiterating, keep doing it. I had a bit of a clue, but it really allowed that to flow. And what I've actually found now, I've been sharing my framework with my clients who are on this transformational journey with me, and it's helped them to really feel grounded and secure about where they are in the path and what's happening. So I'm really appreciative. And thanks everyone who's watching for your time and attention as well.